Coming up next.
The actual story of Bungo Stray Dogs is not that compelling to me.
Also, whenever you say things like that, it disrespects the anime because you make blanket statements about the anime that you don't like to try to prove your point.
What Fyodor is looking for is the reality changing book. So almost like One Piece, where there's like a lore off of the One Piece, and then that's what everybody is gravitating towards. That's the same thing in the show too.
I don't know if we said this on like one of our team calls, but you gentlemen said Bungo Stray Dogs is better than Hunter x Hunter. I know Carlil stands on that. Bomba, are you willing to stand on that? That Bungo Stray Dogs is better than Hunter x Hunter.
I think character-wise, like I prefer the characters, a lot of the characters from Bungo Stray Dogs for sure. But
I don't even have Bungo Stray Dogs over Undead Unluck. I like Undead Unluck better than Bungo.
No, it's definitely better than Undead Unluck. So, like as far as anime only, I don't know the mangas. Anime only is better than Undead Unluck.
I like Undead Unluck better.
Undead Unluck is fire. Like it really draws you in, but the story they haven't given us much, man.
For me personally, the actual story of Bungo Stray Dogs is not that compelling to me. There's no goal. Like how One Piece, we're trying to see the One Piece. We're trying to see if Luffy becomes king of the pirates. There's no end goal or objective to Bungo Stray Dogs other than stop the bad guy. That's it.
Okay.
I was gonna say,
how is that
every
that's the same thing.
No, just like I said, in One Piece, we're waiting to see what is the One Piece. Will Luffy become Pirate King? We're waiting for things like that, bigger stuff. Bungo Stray Dogs is like, okay. Or like, okay, well, I'll even go Dragon Ball Z. You know, I don't think Dragon Ball Z has a story, a good story. And this is going to be a little bit of a stretch. And in Dragon Ball Z, we're at least like, okay, does Goku get to master Ultra Instinct? Does he reach the next level of Super Saiyan? And Bungo Stray Dogs, we're just like, oh shit, a new enemy's here. How they gonna stop him?
That's the same thing. That's the same thing you said about Dragon Ball Z.
No, I'm talking about the level of Goku, Super Saiyan.
But I feel like
that's literally the same thing you said about Dragon Ball Z.
Well, then there you go. I said Dragon Ball Z don't have a good story, so here we go.
You mentioned transformation and stuff. They don't have certain things just because it's a different power system. But the story is similar to other animes, even One Piece, because at the end of the day, there is a bigger villain that's orchestrating a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And they're not just going to put it in your face all the time. Like we've seen him in season 2, we seen him in season 4. You feel me? Like the guy that you kill him, he comes like he literally takes over your body or something, like turns you into a clone. So there's like a bigger picture and things that are brewing. It's One Piece that was the same thing. Emu was never in the picture till I don't know when. Like, you feel me? People never thought of Emu or the Gorosei.
That's what I'm saying.
You
One
always
Piece
thought like, okay, he's just going island to island, just fighting people. That's convenient. Island to island to fighting people. As long as there's island, you're thinking that's what the story is going to be until Emu pops up. But this is doing a better job of placing it and planting it and showing you, like, oh, hold on.
I think also whenever you say things like that, it disrespects the anime because you make blanket statements about the anime that you don't like to try to prove your point, i.e., you feel me? Like a lot of people regard Dragon Ball Z the GOAT, and you've been on record with saying that Dragon Ball Z is a drama anime, a blanket statement.
I was trolling.
You've been on record saying that Dragon Ball Z has the same story over and over again, like you're doing Bungo Stray Dogs, which it's not the same story over and over again. Bungo Stray Dogs, the reason. What'd you say? Clarify.
I said there's no big. So like One Piece, we're trying to see. Okay, there's not more lore or more story to it other than enemy. We got to beat them. One Piece, we have to figure out what the first of all we got to figure out what the voice entry was. We're starting to figure that out now.
I'm gonna stop you there. Because I didn't ask you about One Piece. I asked you about Bungo Stray Dogs. So you literally, I said that you said it's the same thing over and over again. You said, no, I didn't. And then you literally just said it's a bad guy, beat him up. New bad guy comes, beat him up. Is that not the same thing over and over again?
So it's not the same thing as I compared it to Dragon Ball Z. When I said about Dragon Ball Z, I was like the Cybermen and the Cell Juniors are the same thing. I said the absorption thing, that the absorption thing with Cell and the absorption thing with Boo, same thing. That's what I was saying.
So I just, like I said, your statement was blanket because that's not what you're trying to make that to prove your point, but it's wrong because that's not what it's about. You feel me? Like if that was just about what Bungo Stray Dogs is about, we wouldn't have the deep character arcs for each type of person. We wouldn't have had the backstory. Like our main character actually has a goal that he's trying to reach. Has it been said open, but you can see it through the story and his character development. He's trying to figure out what purpose he has in life, because before he met Dazai, he was told that he had no purpose. He was told that he had no purpose. And you see himself in each season through each arc honing his skills, trying to find his purpose through this detective agency. And I'm not going to lie to you. As you know, his backstory is deep. They had a whole backstory on Dazai before he came to the
detective agency.
But he came to the detective agency and how he was a part of the Port Mafia. Like, I understand what you're saying based off, but you can say about almost any anime. New bad guy shows up, the main character's got to beat them. You can say that with almost any anime, but you are only willing to tweak that reasoning for the animes you like. You feel me? Like, you're not willing to look at Bungo Stray Dogs and says this actually does have a deeper story because you don't.
Okay, I'll put it like this, like Full Metal Alchemist. The main story was let's get our body back, and well, first it started off like how do we get our mom back? Then it was like okay, now how do we get our mom? How do we get our body back? But in between that, there is new enemy. We got to beat them. That's what drives the story along. But when your whole story is enemies here, we got to beat them. That's where I make you lose points.
I just told you that's not the whole story. I just gave you an example of how that's not the whole story.
On top of what Carl said, I had to look up his name real quick because I had forgotten. But the person that I was telling you that they showed in the second season, like kind of teased him, showed a little bit of his power. It was Fyodor. And what Fyodor is looking for is the reality changing book. So almost like One Piece, where there's like a lore off of the One Piece, and then that's what everybody is gravitating towards. That's the same thing in the show too. The good guys are still looking for that. Like, even though they're dealing with these smaller aspects, they're still looking for that to stop Fyodor. Fyodor is looking for that to change the world, the whole world.
That's a good point, Bob. That's a good point. That is a good point. Because Fyodor was the only person that was looking for that. The one dude who could spend money was also looking for that, so he could bring his wife back to life. It's like looking for the Philosopher's Stone, I guess. Still don't think it's better than Hunter.
Join our Discord server now and dive into a space where we talk everything. Sports, anime, music, entertainment. We cover it all. And trust us, it gets hectic in there. Got questions, hot takes, theories? Bring them! Share your ideas, thoughts, and be part of the conversation. And hey, if we feature anything you drop in our videos, we'll be sure to shout you out. Our community is growing fast, so don't wait. Tap in now, leave your mark, and enjoy the fun before it gets packed. Share this with your grandma.